Alright, so I'm going to do a quick Aeson question and answer of the top questions that we keep getting at Aeson, whilst I also show off the new adjustments to the tug today. So, anyway, just go over the tug quickly. As you know, V settings and V settings have not changed. There's no tug or tow bar, so therefore we don't touch those, and this as well. What has changed is we do have reverse lights now. We also do have um, the engine status, which changes, and we also have engine shutdown. Okay. The next thing we need to talk about um, is pretty much everything on the Yeeson. So what we include in even our planes. Um, so before we take this for a spin to show it's reached 30 miles per hour, let's look at the first question we keep getting. Why do Yeeson planes not have flaps? And annoyingly, flaps is it's like if you're gonna ask for anything, commonly I keep getting the question about flaps, and it's why I say it's annoying is there are so many other more important surfaces on a plane than just flaps, and I keep getting the question of why is there no flaps? Why is there no flaps? Well, here's the simple reason why we don't have flaps. Flaps aren't even the most important surface on a plane. The most important surface for on the planes is the aileron and the elevator. Because if your flaps malfunction on a plane, you can still fly without them. It just means you've got to fly a bit more fast than when you're coming into land. Um, and with your spoilers, your ground spoilers, which is funny enough, again, not another one said, considering it's a pretty important function, um, but not as important as the other two. Yeah, even that's not being mentioned. But let me say why we don't have control surfaces on a using planes at the moment. It's going to be an add-on. We don't have it at the moment because we're not making a using planes, as I've always said, to be realistic. I'm not going to make a plane that just animates these functions, but they have no effect. There's no point, in my opinion, making animations for your planes and stuff if the ailerons don't affect the plane at all. The flaps position change doesn't affect the plane at all. It's just a visual aesthetic, and that's boring. I think road aviation is still stuck in this, where I say, stone age in terms of there's smart people in the community, but they're not trying hard enough to help the community grow, and that's why people are saying it seems to be dying. And so for me, the reason I do enjoy doing, I do make these planes and stuff is because I actually enjoy it. It's an aim for me to get into my future aimed future career of aviation, and yeah, it's fun, and most of these things are quite easy to do, and I just don't know why people don't do it. So yes, when you do see control surfaces on Aeson planes in the very near future, they will all function except for one specific part, and that is because in real world, actually, the slats don't create lift, nor do they create drag. What the slats do is they actually accelerate the wind going over the wing, and this helps to create more effect on the other surfaces on the plane. But slats actually don't do um, they don't create lift nor drag, and we can't simulate them accelerating air in Roblox. But what we can do is simply just make sure that they do function as the flaps function, um, and we can try to increase what we can do with the air density to try and simulate that change of speed, because with the more air going over the wing, the more air density reaching the what do you call it, the flaps and other control surfaces. So yeah, um, other than that, yes, we will have control surfaces on the eastern planes, but we just don't have them at the moment. And yes, they will be add-ons, quite simply because They aren't animations, but they actually will function and have a proper effect on the plane. Therefore, the time to make that work without problems take some time. Alright, the next question we get at Aeson is, will your planes be for Roblox? Well, short answer no, but I can explain why we don't want to take Robux, um, continuously. And the quite simple reason is there are plenty of other very good developers who are happy to take Robux. Aeson planes are meant to be USD, and we actually do charge a very cheap price for our planes. If you look at the likes of CZ Trader, you might get planes that don't even have any coding. You got to do all of that work, and they are 2 times, 3 times, 4 times the Aeson planes. We're really giving our clients a bargain because we get 6 months, 6 months group warranty for the which is for every client from the start of the plane's release, which allows you to get critical bug fixes. And by what we mean by critical means, if Roblox breaks something and it breaks for all of you, we fix it. If it's a issue where it's actually just been you who's messed with something and it's broken, I can advise you, but I most likely won't know what the issue is, and the most I can probably say is reinstall. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Number three, interior. I'm not gonna lie, I keep getting this question. It kind of annoys me now. Will your interiors be? Do you provide seats? Do you provide the interior wall panel things, design things? Quite simply, no. We include on every plane basic interior. Basic interior is floors. If the plane needs stairs, stairs, dividers, and the cockpit chairs. And these are basic, so they just come with the plane. Like Airbus provides you a standard plane, unless you purchase, their seats and stuff. The airline generally will be doing all of those furnishings and fittings. Um, and we do this just simply because it saves up time. B, personally, in real world, why we do have the interior wall designs is simply because of psychology. Um, the windows on most planes are pretty small, so to make passengers not feel like, that window is that small or feel claustrophobic, what they did is they designed the window interior panels to look big, um, and mimic, like, increase what looks like the size of the window. Because when you look at that, you're thinking, oh, okay, this is all part of the window. But really, obviously, the window is really this small size you're seeing it, not the shape. The shape is demented. But yeah, definitely not this shape. But your window is the same size as you see outside as it is inside. The only difference is they put interior panels. Now, why I don't add mine anyway is just simply time. But B, in most cases, that's a lot more tries to put into your plane. Um, and it's really just for a small effect, in my opinion, aesthetic effect. It's much better to just have the pure walls and then build around a better interior, because you have the more tries to work with than if you put that. But personally, there are people that have done it and it can work well. I guess, but generally those planes will be higher tries. So at the moment you're seeing this plane is 162k standard, and say I'd put that now, it'd be most likely up to 300k, if not at least higher than the A380, and be 250k. Currently the A380 itself is 220k, and if I'd done that, well, I'm not going to go into how much that's going to be. Alright, so the next question, I believe I keep getting, is this issue of transferring, and I think it's a very important thing to talk about. So when you're gonna buy a gift or you're gonna buy a plane to for another airline that you don't own, you have to understand that you're buying one unit of a plane. You're not buying two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So when you buy that one product, if you transfer it to that airline owner takes that transferred role. They own that plane. You don't own it, even though you bought it. You have now transferred all rights to them. So you cannot demand for your plane for that plane back because it's no longer yours because you've transferred it. And we always make this very, very clear. If you want to give an airline a plane, you can gift it to them. And gifting it means that you um, provide the plane to that airline. However, you are able to revoke it as long as I'm aware that that is your intention. Else, if you're gifting it to the airline and I'm not aware, I will simply just transfer automatically the ownership because a gift is a gift. So unless you are just investing that airline for a temp amount of time and you've told me this, it will be transferred. Um, Other than that, I think that's most of the questions. I was gonna say people kept asking me too much about GC prices. Oh, okay, actually, that's another one. Add-on prices. I don't know how many times we put this in the news, in the client news, and people just ignore it. If there's no prices for an item you see, we aren't at a stage for you to purchase or at a stage for you to inquire about this product. We always put the prices, we always put information on this product or products so that you can see. It's just people to choose to read it or not read it. So I don't expect every other day someone to ask me, what's the price of the add-ons? I've already said how many times we don't have any because it's not in development yet. Um, Anywho, I think that's really it, other than people don't know how to fly. Well, there's a decent amount of people that know how to fly Aeson planes now. But quite a few of you have noticed are SFS flyers, but that's great because I know at least by the end of October, we should have a decent amount of Aeson pilots, so that's great over here. Anyway, time to test this tug, isn't it? Right, so important thing to notice about a tug. Anything to notice about the tug is quite simple. You press the engine button to turn the engine on. Yeah, it's mind blowing, you know. That's the button you use to turn on the engine. Just in case someone asks me, how do you turn on the engine? Because I've got these type of questions before and it makes me sick. This is your window wiper button. That's your left indicator, right indicator, park brake sign. Now this says you're in parking mode. That's your caution lights, which is this thing and these things. Your hazard lights is just that and that on together at the same time. Your battery, it's only just really aesthetics, but that's in a car, any vehicle, you generally start the car with the battery and it will show in the starting sequence. So let's get started. Okay, so that's the engine there. If I turn it off, it comes like that. Okay, so that's my favorite part. And you can't do anything, even if I go into reverse mode, I can't move. Even if I go into D mode, I can't move. So yeah. Generally, if you're gonna start the engines, I wouldn't say start the engines in D or R. That's just really stupid. You're gonna start moving, and it might be unwanted. I'd start it in neutral. That's if you really just want to get off and start going into gear very quickly. Else, I'd always leave it in park. Okay, so let's start out. You generally put caution lights on when you're moving around the airport. Hazards is only when you're connecting to the tug or towing this any plane. but you generally leave them off. And headlights, as you know, is when it's in the dark or something. Okay, so with that being said, now I just like playing around with this. Anyway, with that being said, let's get moving. As I said, this maxes out at 30 miles per hour. I really need to change the lighting here because it's really ugly at the moment. Yeah, anyway. Should have really used my indicators there. Oops, wrong indicator. So if I'm gonna come into brakes, right? With the tug, because the tugs brake much slower than most cars, and even with a car anyway, you make sure you look at when you're going to brake, switch into neutral if you're gonna come to a full stop there, and as you can see, drag and the natural engine braking will slow you down. If you feel you need a bit more speed, just coast into neutral. But anyway, I'm going to be ready for my braking zone. Now I can start braking, you know, and perfect braking, you see, perfect. Yeah, it's perfect anyway, don't ignore that. And then yeah, I hold the brakes, but you don't actually have to hold the brakes. I generally hold the brakes anyway, and I just switch straight into P mode, way into park, turn off the engine, and turn off my caution lights. And yeah, you're done. So yeah, it's very fun target to drive. Um, Obviously the same system will be in her and her too. So, you know, obviously here, your boy Aeson's got you. Um, and I hope you have understood any questions or answers you guys might have had or are going to post. Again, always leave those in the comment section and even in a use, and we'll try and get to them. Alright, thank you very much and see you.